A storm returns to the Highlands, not of wind or rain, but of blood, love, and betrayal. Whispers spread across the glens, speaking of a child whose very existence could shatter the fragile peace between clans. Some say she is a curse, others call her a blessing. But one thing is certain, her secret, once revealed, will ignite a fire no one can control. This is not just a story of family. It's a story of truth buried too long, and the price of uncovering it. The Highlands lie under a sky heavy with mist, where every gust of wind carries the weight of forgotten sins. The peace between the Frasers and the McKenzies trembles like a fragile flame, and all it takes is a whisper to set the valley ablaze again. That whisper begins with one name, Lorna, a child hidden from the world, raised under another name, her bloodline bound in secrecy. Few know the truth of her origin, and fewer still understand what her existence means. Brian Fraser walks alone by the loch, the water dark and still as the thoughts that haunt him. His reflection ripples in the surface, distorted, like the lies he's forced to live with. Once, his love for Eileen McKenzie was his greatest truth, pure and fierce as fire. But that same love became his greatest sin, tearing apart the fragile alliance that held the Highlands together. Their secret, buried for years, has now begun to stir once more, a secret in the form of a daughter neither could claim, yet both could never forget. Rumors creep, like ivy, through the villages. They speak of a girl with the eyes of a Fraser and the fire of a McKenzie. Some call her a child of prophecy, others a child of deceit. The people remember old stories of blood curses and divine unions, and begin to wonder whether history is repeating itself. The name Fraser still carries power, but it also carries pain. And when the McKenzies catch wind of this child's existence, suspicion turns quickly to fear. In the heart of Castle Grant, Eileen moves through the corridors like a ghost. Once a woman of passion and rebellion, now bound by duty to her husband, Malcolm Grant. Her heart may be loyal in appearance, but her soul still belongs to another. Every glance at the horizon reminds her of Brian, the man she loved, the man she betrayed, and the man she can never forget. But the past has a way of returning, and this time it comes for her in the form of truth. A letter arrives under her door, sealed in wax, carrying a single line that chills her blood. The child has been found. Across the glen, in the shadows of Castle Leo, Colin McKenzie and his brother dual sense opportunity. The word adoption has reached their ears, whispered between servants and traders. A Fraser child, hidden and raised under the Grant name, threatens to shake every alliance they've built. To Colin, this is more than scandal, it's strategy. In the Highlands, bloodlines are weapons, and if this child's lineage can be proven, it could shift the balance of power forever. Dual urges swift action, his temper burning hot, but Colin's mind works like ice. He knows that patience, not rage, wins wars, and in this war, truth will be the deadliest weapon. Meanwhile, Brian receives a message carried by a trembling hand. The wax seal bears the mark of the McKenzies, a serpent coiled around a sword. Inside, the words are simple yet sharp enough to cut through him. The past is not buried. The girl lives. His heart stops. Lorna, the daughter he thought lost, hidden for her safety, now stands at the center of a storm he cannot stop. He remembers Eileen's tears the night they gave her away, the promise they made to protect her from vengeance. That promise now binds him tighter than chains. But danger has already moved closer than he knows. Malcolm Grant, Eileen's husband, hears whispers from his men, tales of a girl in the northern hills, one who looks too much like a Fraser to be coincidence. His jealousy, once quiet, begins to feed on every unspoken truth. Each time he catches Eileen staring into the mist, he wonders what memory she's chasing. When he finally hears the name Lorna, something inside him fractures. What began as curiosity turns into obsession. As the mist thickens across the Highlands, alliances begin to crumble. Letters are sent, promises are broken, and vengeance brews beneath polite smiles. Colum Mackenzie calls for a gathering at Castle Grant, a council of clans to discuss matters of honor. But beneath the civility, everyone knows the truth. This is not a meeting of peace, but a reckoning. The Frasers, the Mackenzies, and the Grants all prepare to face one another once more, drawn together not by choice, but by the blood of a child who carries all their legacies within her. The night before the council, Eileen writes to Brian once again. Her hand trembles as she pens the words, "If they discover her, it will destroy us all. But I cannot bear the silence any longer. She deserves to know who she is." As dawn rises, the Highland mist gives way to a pale, cold light. The council awaits, the air thick with unspoken tension. Each clan rides toward Castle Grant, unaware that what begins as a debate over a child adoption will soon unravel into something far greater, a battle of blood, love, and destiny. The storm that once destroyed hearts is returning, and this time it will demand a price from them all. The great hall of Castle Grant stands heavy with tension. Torches flicker against stone walls, casting long shadows that seem to move with the weight of the past. The clans have gathered, Frasers, Mackenzies, and Grants, under the banner of diplomacy, but the air hums with something far sharper than peace. Every face hides suspicion, every word drips with caution, and at the center of it all stands the girl herself, Lorna. Once hidden in the quiet corners of the Highlands, Lorna now finds herself surrounded by power and politics she can't yet understand. Whispers ripple through the crowd like waves. The Fraser girl, the adopted child, the curse. Some call her the bridge that might bring peace. Others call her the spark that will burn it all to ash. She doesn't know which to believe. Her hands tremble, not from fear, but from the feeling that her life has suddenly become larger than she ever imagined. Malcolm Grant steps forward first, his voice cold and precise. "This child," he declares, "was placed under my care without consent, without truth. If she bears Fraser blood, then my house has been deceived, and I demand to know who is responsible." His words echo through the chamber, sharp as steel. The crowd murmurs, glancing toward the Frasers' side where Brian sits, silent and still. Eileen's heart races. Her throat tightens as her husband's voice fills the hall. Every word cuts through her like a blade. She dares not meet Brian's eyes, though she feels his gaze, steady, pained, unyielding. He knows the truth, and so does she. Years ago, in the dead of night, they made a choice that changed everything. To protect their daughter, they gave her away, hiding her with a branch of the Grant family who owed them loyalty. It was an act born of love, but in the Highlands, love and treason often walk hand in hand. Colum Mackenzie rises from his seat, calm yet commanding. His words slide through the air like silk, carrying the weight of manipulation only a true strategist could master. "Let us not speak in riddles," he begins. "An adoption between clans is no small matter. It changes bloodlines. It shifts alliances. If this child truly carries Fraser blood, then she is not just a ward. She is a claim." His gaze sweeps the hall, resting on Malcolm, then on Brian. And claims once made cannot be undone without consequence. The room stills. The meaning is clear. The child's existence could ignite a war of succession, not just between families but between legacies. To the Mackenzies, this revelation is a weapon, one they can wield to weaken both the Frasers and the Grants. Brian's chest tightens as Colum's words cut deeper. Every instinct tells him to rise, to defend her, to speak the truth. But Eileen's eyes, filled with quiet desperation, stop him. She knows what confession would cost. Her marriage, her honor, her clan's fragile peace. He remains silent, and in that silence, guilt becomes its own kind of punishment. Then Dual Mackenzie breaks the calm with a snarl. "Enough of this dancing around truth. If she carries Fraser blood, then let her be tested by Highland custom." A drop of blood will tell us what the tongue dares not. His voice shakes the hall. Some shout in agreement, others in outrage. The clans divide in their cries, proof, honor, deceit. The noise swells until Eileen steps forward, her voice trembling, yet strong enough to silence the hall. This child, she says, has done no wrong. She was taken in to protect her, not to deceive. She bears no blame for the sins of her parents. Her words hang in the air, fragile yet defiant. For a moment the hall is silent, until Malcolm turns to her, eyes dark as storm clouds. "And who," he asks slowly, his voice low but burning with rage, "are those parents you speak of, Eileen?" The question strikes like thunder. Eileen freezes. The hall holds its breath. All eyes turn to her, and then to Brian. The truth is there, alive in the silence, but unspoken. The air feels like it might shatter. Colum steps closer, sensing the weakness in the room, the perfect moment to twist the knife. "If we seek to protect our clans," he says softly, "then let the truth be spoken here, before it becomes a weapon in another man's hand." His words are sweet poison. He doesn't want peace, he wants exposure. Before Eileen can speak, a guard bursts through the doors, soaked from the rain, panting. "My lord," he gasps, "the girl, she's gone." The room erupts in chaos. Shouts echo through the hall. The council fractures instantly. Accusations flying, alliances splintering. Lorna has vanished, and no one knows whether she fled or was taken. To some, it's proof of guilt. To others, a sign of fear. Brian rises, his pulse pounding. Eileen's hand trembles as she reaches for him, their eyes meeting one last time before everything falls apart. He knows what he must do, the same thing he's always done. Protect her, no matter the cost. Outside, the rain falls harder, washing the banners of the clans until their colors bleed together. Riders mount their horses. Torches flicker through the mist, and the search begins. Somewhere in the darkness, a girl with Fraser blood and McKenzie fire runs through the glen, clutching nothing but a faded ribbon and the name she's never been allowed to claim. The adoption, once meant to save her, has now become the curse that binds them all. And as thunder rolls across the Highlands, one truth becomes clear. Secrets never stay buried. Not in this land. Not in this blood. The storm is no longer coming. It's already here. Night blankets the Highlands in shadow and rain. The fires of the clans burn across the glens, their light flickering against the storm like dying stars. Every rider searches. Every voice calls her name, Lorna, the girl who carries both a curse and a destiny. Some seek her to protect her, others to claim her. But none can escape the truth that her blood will decide the future of them all. Brian rides through the darkness, mud splashing beneath his horse's hooves. His cloak clings to him, soaked through, yet he doesn't stop. Each gust of wind whispers with the ghosts of his choices. The night he betrayed his clan, the love he swore to protect, the child he was forced to give away. The promise Eileen made still burns in his mind. Protect her, even if the world turns against us. He will not fail her again. Far ahead, in the shelter of an ancient oak, Lorna hides, her breath quick and shallow. She clutches the old ribbon she found in her belongings, the one that once belonged to her mother. Though she doesn't yet know it, the sound of thunder rolls through the glen, and in that sound, she feels something awaken. A connection she can't explain. It's as if the land itself knows who she is, as if blood remembers what the heart has forgotten. When Brian finally reaches the glen, dawn is breaking. The storm begins to fade, leaving behind a stillness that feels almost sacred. He dismounts, his heart heavy yet steady. And there, by the stream, pale in the morning light, stands Lorna. Her eyes, bright and fierce, meet his. Neither speaks, but the silence between them says everything. A bond formed not by time, but by truth. He takes a step forward, voice trembling with emotion. "You've nothing to fear, lass," he says softly. "No one will harm you." But before she can answer, the sound of approaching hooves shatters the fragile calm. Out of the mist ride the clans, the Frasers, the McKenzies, and the Grants, converging upon the glen like destiny itself. Behind them, Colin Mackenzie's face is a mask of cold triumph. Beside him, Malcolm Grant's fury burns through the fog, his sword already drawn. And following them, pale and broken, rides Eileen. The world holds its breath as all paths meet in one place. Love, blood, and betrayal bound together in a single moment. Colin dismounts first, his voice cutting through the air. So, he says, the truth stands before us. The child is of Fraser blood. The adoption was a lie. And those who deceived the clans will answer for it. His gaze locks on Brian and Eileen, sharp as a blade. Tell me, do you understand what you've done? Brian steps forward, his voice steady but burdened with pain. He says, I understand. I broke no law of honor. I protected my blood. I protected her. His eyes fall to Lorna. And I would do it again. The crowd stirs, murmurs rising. Malcolm's expression twists with disbelief, his knuckles white around his sword hilt. Your blood, he breathes, his voice breaking. The realization cuts through him like steel. You made me raise another man's child. You made a fool of my house. His words echo across the valley, heavy with betrayal. Eileen steps forward, tears streaking her face, her voice trembling but fierce. I did what I must, to save her, to save us all. But Malcolm only shakes his head, rage clouding reason. You saved nothing, he spits. You doomed us. Colin raises a hand, his tone calm, but his eyes glittering with satisfaction. Then let the law of the Highlands decide. The child belongs to no clan until one claims her. If Brian Fraser dares to call her his daughter, let him do it now, and bear the price that comes with it. The glen falls silent. The wind stills. All eyes turn to Brian. He looks to Eileen, the woman who was once his peace and his pain. Then to Lorna, the child who carries both their blood and their hope. For a moment, time seems to stop. The storm within him settles into clarity. He steps forward, voice steady, full of quiet defiance. She is mine, he says. My daughter. My blood. The words strike the air like thunder. Dual Mackenzie unsheathes his sword in defiance, roaring, Then the law is broken.